All right, folks. So just a couple questions I had from week 2 from you guys to kind of go and talk about a little bit. First one is, what is negative feedback? Negative feedback is where the products at the end of a enzymatic cascade inside the body or just a process are going to limit the initial start. So effectively, negative feedback is going to be, for example, we think about living in a home, apartment, etc., where you've got AC and heat. So once it gets to be cold enough, your house is going to turn on its heater. That might run on electricity, might run on gas, but it's going to use a fuel, gas or electricity, to then create heat, the final product. Once you have enough of that heat produced, final product, it is going to increase, the temperature comes up in the room. That's what's being measured. And once we have enough of that temperature, it's going to shut off the heater. So that's going to be that first step in the cascade. Same thing is going to happen in the body. Had a question from another student about what would be an appropriate way to do a 2% weight cut. Well, 2% weight cut depends on what we're looking for. If it's a 24-hour weigh-in, I would just honestly get in the sauna that day and just sweat out what you need to in order to get down to weight. If it's 2-hour weigh-in and you're in a sport that's not going to be limited by anaerobic glycolysis and aerobic glycolysis, I would do a low carb diet and kind of do a glycogen depletion leading up into it. Not necessarily really cutting a bunch of water, but decreasing your glycogen levels is probably going to make you that 2% lighter for most people, as well as you could even try to manipulate a little bit with sodium levels and fluid levels. Now, doing that sauna approach or, sweatsuits, you want to be passive. You don't want to be running. You don't have to be burning a lot of calories on top of you. You just want to effectively let the weight come off of you. And so that's where, being in a sauna, just sweating out the weight and then rehydrating it back on, there is going to be some more risk of injury. There's going to be potentially some lower performance, but it's going to be a relatively easy way to get down to that lower 2%. Wouldn't play with laxative. Last thing you want to do is to be MC disaster pants out there because you use laxatives to cut all the weight. But that much fluid is not going to be too big of a deal. How many carbs should be eating around really depends on your physical activity. We just kind of a little simple approach would just say about 4 grams per kilogram of body mass is kind of a starting point, and then see how you're performing. Is that enough to maintain all of your exercise levels? You're not having issues with recovering in between each session. You're not bonking midway through. If you're training more than once a day, are we feeling as good in that second workout as we did in the first? With keeping in mind fatigue that's going to come anyways. So it can obviously go up to be insanely high. Some Tour de France, like hardcore huge volumes of work aerobic athletes, you might see 12 grams per kilogram of body mass, which is a lot. But for most folks, it can be there. It can be a little lower if they want to. Obviously, some folks enjoy the use of the ketogenic diet or other types of low carb lifestyles. That's fine as long as you're performing how you want. And last one was timing and use of creatine and kind of overall digestion and speed. Creatine is going to be one of those things that you're taking up mostly in your small intestine. So I figure it's probably going to take at least 20 minutes or so before it's really hitting your bloodstream. And then as far as its use is to increase intramuscular and intracellular levels of creatine, because you'll store actually a bit more in your brain, a couple other places. And that's been some interesting research on utilizing that in order to actually improve cognition and neurological health, and it's mostly in Alzheimer's and dementia patients. So let's keep in mind context here. Now, as far as the timing in and around workouts, either right when you're getting started, because it still has to be in your gut. It takes about 20 minutes to hit that bloodstream. So you eat it 20 minutes before it's going to really be doing its thing. Or we can maybe do it at the end of our workout. Obviously, there's some that prefer to do it with carbohydrate. Plus it tends to make it taste better. Or if you're just doing tablet or capsules, it doesn't really matter. But by doing that with carbs, it might be a little bit with helping to replenish glycogen a bit faster. So that is another potential way to go about it. So good work, those of you guys that ask questions for me to kind of go through. This is obviously getting posted up, and enjoy your extra credit. Keep up the good work, guys. Bye-bye.